new week begins, and as we move forward from the celebrations of International Women's Day, one thing remains clear. The fight for gender equality doesn't end with a single day of recognition. The theme this year was Accelerate Action. But will the momentum continue, or was it just another moment in time? So many things happened in the lead up to the IWD, I beg your pardon, that had many, like myself, questioning if Nigeria was truly serious about changing the fortunes of its girls and women. While the day may have passed, the whole of March, I'm struggling today, let me just tell you. While the day may have passed, the whole of March is International Women's Month, so the conversations definitely don't stop. Welcome to a new week on Just Theory. I'll get through.
Sorry, your eyes are a bit swollen. I know it's about sleep and everything. But anyway, I want to thank you. Thank you immensely for choosing to spend your mornings with us as we take you through discussions about the things shaping the Nigeria we live in. Whether it's economy, politics, social issues, whatever it may be, nothing escapes conversations on this table. Now, to something we haven't done in a while. Ladies, how was your weekend? I really should turn to Tolu because your eyes look swollen. Tell us, what's going on?
Struggling with her words.
You're struggling.
I don't
know. But I did call on Saturday and you said you were home. You said it, that you were home. And you even insisted you were resting and doing nothing. That made me suspicious.
The only reason I left the house this whole weekend was to go and pick her a day up from doing her hair. Her dad took her, I cooked, and then I went to pick her up. And other than that, I did not leave my house. I can't tell you what's going on.
Or maybe the lethargy of rest.
Yes,
you have been hyper busy for weeks.
Man, and then I think sometimes we bear weight subconsciously that we're not, that's not in front of us. So that's subconscious. There's a lot on my mind.
We're here for you, your women's circle. So Kathy, I know Kathy started a Saturday, a Friday cooking. So how did your weekend how did it end?
Talk now. At least may I confess my sins.
That is where to start now. Guys, we're supposed to go somewhere together, and I realized that, you know that thing, we were dreaming last week.
Of course, so the shake.
When that dream is not turning to your reality, when you open your face and you look at, there's just 3 bowls of food left. Wow. So we have to go to the market. So I spent my afternoon at the market. Lolo was there. I was psyching myself. I'm going to go to the market from Jasiri and my people.
Easy.
I don't know how people are coping. I don't know how they're buying things. Everything is just...
Prices haven't come down.
No.
Because we're told that prices were coming down.
What I bought, the nylon I came back home with.
You think they stole things from you?
My sister.
I know.
So when they say prices have come down, I don't see it. So I spent the weekend cooking and getting ready. School is starting. Second semester is starting. And that means,
money coming out. You had to shake body small.
Shake body.
So I was harassed mentally, emotionally, financially. And that's how the weekend just flew by. But one thing I was telling Blessings, I wasn't on social media this weekend.
Wow.
Intention. And I didn't miss anything. It's just something wrong with me.
No, there's nothing to have missed. Let me tell you. Nothing to have missed. Nothing.
Anyway, so I know Blessings is a bit flustered this morning.
Why?
Handymen, people you work with. How was your weekend?
And then she's dealing with them by herself.
Honestly, it is a lot. I think that from Friday, this same thing that happened really, when this thing we've been talking about, bottled up emotions, right? Something happened, one of my vendors got me so upset, and then I realized how much I had been taking for granted. So it really knocked off my mood. But aside that, I did the same thing. I was off social, although for me, I had to go check once in a while if there's any opportunity and stuff. But mostly I was off social media, and I was able to do the normal. So I'm building a routine, resting on Saturday, staying up, watching Netflix. I was able to do my exercise, spend time with
dark rooms.
In the dark room. So I have this light, it's just the yellow light, and then your Netflix. It's just so cool. I didn't even know when the sun went down. So I'm basically making the most of this period I have.
This
that there's
season.
Yes,
This season.
no much gig. And I'm sorry, a bit of deviation, but this is what I tell people. A lot of people are always waiting for that big gig, that big break. The time you have that, there's nothing yet. Use it for something.
Yes.
You know? So I'm developing a routine, and I absolutely love it.
And
I love it
talking
for you.
about gigs, somebody reached out to me last week to do a gig. I was like, okay, let's do, International Women's Month. Let me do one. And I asked if it's paid. And they came back to me and said it's paid. It's not paid. And I came back and I said, I'm so sorry.
I'm not.
The season I'm in, I don't take jobs that are not paid. I don't take jobs that are not paid.
I think that was the
I know the dues I've paid when I was doing unpaid, and then there are very, very few people that I've developed relations with over the past few years who can call me and say, sis, we don't have money, but we have, but don't come at me and just say it's not paid. I'm not doing it.
We're going to bite you.
Thank you very much, but unfortunately, I'm not the person you're looking for.
Honestly, you know why this is beautiful? Because on Jasiri table, we tell you we have hard conversations, but we want you to know that we're human too.
Yeah.
Very real in our lives, our day-to-day lives. When Catherine and I will talk, I like going back to the market myself because there is nothing they buy that I'm pleased.
Yes.
I went. No,
Did you see Bimbo's post?
Oh no!
Do you have to disguise yourself when you go?
Oh well, I like to stick with the market. I don't go to new market. Like the Aja market, I believe a lot of them know me, but some of the vendors have become very at home with me. They don't go all, they just greet me familiarly. But this last week, everybody greeted me by name because some of my fans couldn't believe that I'm in the market. And it's something I don't really know. Maybe we need to have a discussion on if celebs can still be normal sometimes.
I think, are we not the ones who don't allow them to be normal?
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, we had
People
that
just
conversation. So we
harass
were
you
at
all the time?
we were Friday. We went for an event.
When I was in the market.
First of all, Biodun Stevens, take your flowers.
Are
you?
And Shafi Bello, take your flowers.
You guys
we did she
madly.
invited us for a private screening of her new film. I've never cried at a Nollywood movie. Musunkun.
I cry all the
This
time.
one could not shut up.
But I cry.
Lola was just
Oh
talking.
my
As in the commentators, like you could feel the energy, but that's not it. So we went out to dinner with some friends from one of our
was
former
the
companies.
highlight. He
And we
dragged me
I
and
dragged
I'm
her.
so
I refused. And this thing
you.
about celebrities not being able to eat. And one of our friends, Chika, went in on the girl afterwards. But one of the waiters or waitresses that came to the table saw Lolo, and she only identified her as Adaku. And Lolo, they just brought food to us. And the next, what was it that she said to you that?
She just said, I hope you're not going to finish all this food.
Meanwhile, it was a
I didn't
platter
even
for
have
all
a
of us.
comment.
So. It was a platter,
didn't
and she
say
said it
anything.
smiling.
Yeah.
So her mind, yes, she's talking to Adaku, not realizing you're talking to a person. You're talking to someone who plays a character. Chika, one of our friends, was upset. So when the girl came back, she told her, "You need to apologize to her. One, it was a very personal situation, and you shouldn't be just interrupting anyhow like that." And then the comments that are coming out of your mouth is, "Well, I hope you're not going to eat all that."
I'm not
this person that we beg to eat half the time.
I'm not surprised because, recently Lolo has been everywhere. It's like you own social media this period. And then every time there are videos of her, including the very serious one, like the harassment that she experienced.
People still
see
say
ridiculous comments like, "Oh, so she can speak English. Oh, this one, that one. Hope it's not food that you're eating. Oh, this one." One even said, "Foke Akindele, your attention is there." I'm like, people can literally not differentiate between.
In the market, two ladies stood and looked at me. I said, if I was you and I just stayed at a distance and I stared at you, would you feel uncomfortable? Even if you think you recognize me, you can move closer and say, "Auntie, are you Adaku?" And I will smile. And I really saw someone, I met one of these leading ladies Africa, I think their head. She was so gracious. There was a lady she just met for the first time out of the people that were invited for an interview. And do you know what she said? So she asked, she said, "Please, do you do hugs?
Do you do talks?
Do you do hugs?"
I think that's so sweet.
And
Okay, let's hold it. I think we're on to something here.
Yeah.
But we have updates on some of the stories we've been following for you this past weekend, and of course some of the big stories that have developed in the past, I think they say 72 hours. We'll get that for you right after the break and continue this as well. Stay with us. All right.
We need Jasiri extra to lose sometimes. We need a Jasiri extra that we can
Stop talking. Stop talking. You'll be saying things now that are going to give me more work to do. No. But seriously, on this issue, like for me, it's not as much as you guys in particular. I remember our days on radio.
Yeah. Oh.
And for radio, we were just voices.
Yes.
And I remember one time I went to the movies with my husband and I was just, yeah, because I liked the anonymity of not being known,
same.
but I liked the work I was doing. I was just talking, and there was a couple in front. If you see the way the guy's head just
Yes.
from the voice.
Yeah.
I said, Jesus, I wanted the ground to open. Because I've never been, I'm not interested. I like the recognition of you're doing a great job. But what it seems to be in this day for you people is beyond that.
It's very, and sometimes it can really cross lines. And my clothes have been torn before. Someone, I told you about the woman that touched me inappropriately at Trade Fair some years ago. I was so traumatized. A woman in hijab, she came and put her hands on my breast like this. I said, madam. And you know once she did that, everybody turned, because it was Trade Fair. Wow. Everybody turned to look. I won't lie to you, Tolu. At that moment, I was thinking, what should I do? What should I do? Should I get angry? I just walked away.
And the problem is, if you get angry and you start making a scene, it's
when people are already turning out, they just whip out the camera,
they grab
and they
you
won't
there.
see,
They won't see what happened before.
You don't know, Nigerians always, mine is not grabbing the twins. Mine is, sorry, my darling, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Blessings, I'm so sorry. Honestly, but that I'm so sorry,
That
my
was
darling.
deliberate.
But that's what you get.
That's what they do. Oh no, sometimes
you just get a
really
slap on the
overwhelming.
back, and they laugh.
And they laugh, and they will she even say, I said, but madam, you're supposed to know boundaries because you're a woman in a hijab.
Yeah.
That means boundaries should be something that you would extend to people. Fancy anyone, fancy, check out my money.
And then they make it seem like you're
Keen and greeting does not necessarily mean you have to feel. You have to know me.
And if you say things like "Don't touch me now,"
hey, I've done it before.
No, we are feelers in the country.
There was nothing. They didn't call me. I was eating with my children, and they kept coming. I said, "Please, can you stop?
Please, can I take a picture with you? Please, can I take a picture with you?"
And
Me,
they
usually it's from the braids.
me. I said, "Are you mad?"
The lock.
If you see the way I entered
That
them, I
they
said, "What's
recognize.
wrong with you? You can see me having a private time with my children, and you can just not hold yourself."
I think it's boundaries. Like Tolu mentioned one time when she says, you've always had reservations about just quickly coming to hug. So when Lola was saying that, you met this fantastic woman who said, do you
Do you hug?
Yeah.
And she waited, and the woman said, "Oh yes," and extended her hand over, and they did hug. It was an instructive moment for me.
Yes.
Honestly, I won't lie to you. I was like, wow.
Because some people they just take the piss and just glide with that. And just if they vex now, you change your face, say, I
You
don't
see,
understand.
you are
And they'll take it away. Don't mind how she's full of herself.
Oh no,
she's
they'll
so
set up bring light to talk about you. They'll set up bring light that I met so and so. That can you
she's so
imagine?
nasty.
So there's this Hollywood actor Anthony Mackie. I think I can't. The guy that
Anthony.
plays who's now Captain America in the Marvel franchise. He is notorious. He doesn't like nobody, nothing, no how. So sometime last year, a woman and her son were out, and she said the son is a huge fan of his. They went up to him, and she said, "Can my son take picture?" He said, "No, I'm not taking pictures. I don't have to take pictures.
Yes.
I don't want to take pictures." And she came up and she set up ring lights, and she said her son was so disappointed, and that this guy is a role model, that how can he say he doesn't want to take pictures? And we just completely missed the part that these people are people.
Yes, they are
After he did his role in his character, which you all fell in love with, he's
on with his life.
entitled to be a person.
Nigerians will say, so you want people to boycott your movies.
Is that
in Nigeria,
because
it will
we
be
can't grab
translated
you?
to mean that, oh, you don't want to sell your movies. You are pushing your fans away. So you are. So we always overcompensate.
So the ones where they put the cameras up in your face. I know Lolo shared a story that happened with her
Another day,
and
Funke Akindele, when we went to London, it was so inappropriate. Funke had to say that, "I'm going to report you to your management. This is an invasion
She was
of
even
privacy."
a staff working
She was a staff. You know where you buy duty free? She followed us with her camera, and she had taken. We had obliged her. Oh, Funke had been magnanimous. We had all taken pictures. Then she put her phone on live and followed us and kept talking.
Wow.
Till we got to where we were seated to eat.
Welcome to
She still
paparazzi.
entered the restaurant. Oh no, we had to put her in her place. When she said, "I'm going to report you to your management,"
It's
So I say, oh,
boundaries.
sorry. I know she'll go about and say, hey, what's wrong with all these
Yeah,
people?
so before now, I didn't understand why, because like I said, I'm a serious girl. I like to watch series,
Yeah.
but sometimes you just see a character discontinued. I know that when a major character dies in a series, it's
Yeah.
because the person signed out of there. So I never really understood, but most of the reasons I see is personal, this thing, something with family, and I used to think, oh, you can mix both, but eventually you find out that these people have become so much in the limelight that they don't have their personal lives anymore. And do you know that in Nigeria, you don't even have to be rude. So something happened with a TikTok celebrity, I think Purple Speedy or so. She said she came across a girl on in Abuja, and then the girl came, can I have a picture? She even gave the girl a peck. Eventually, she showed the picture that she gave her a peck and all, and the girl was so happy. The girl did not post the picture, came online, set up a tripod and a ring light, and said she met Purple Speedy, very rude. She refused to take pictures with her. She did this, she did that. Probably she did not know that someone else was taking a picture of them. She had to, the celebrity had to post the picture. Is this not you? Wow. And then she came out and apologized that she didn't know they had the picture, that she just wanted people to know that she met her. I'm like, what?
So if you wanted people to know you met her, why then the defamation of character?
Probably she wanted to trend because, and again, that post had thousands of likes.
And then they'll be saying that's how celebrities are. In fact, why she even?
That's it.
But meanwhile,
she was so shocked.
Our lives are not easy.
She had to post the picture that her, I think it was her sister that took. You know, she was just taking pictures
on the side.
Is this not you?
And the things we do for likes and for clicks, hey?
It does know this
sometimes
generation.
it's just-
It had become something
Something
that
else,
it's something endangering.
We
Because you
need
want someone to
censor
like your
ourselves.
post, you will defame another, you will say all sorts of. Honestly, if we talk social media,
We should
it's
really
traumatizing
move on.
place.
Yeah, we really should move on,
let's
but we should
talk.
have those seasons and sessions where we can just go with the flow and just talk about issues that just mess with us, that we can't understand. You know, sometimes maybe we need to curate a day for that. But let's get into other issues in this moment. All right, so the Nigerian Air Force has issued an apology and pledged an investigation into an attack on the headquarters of Ikeja Electric, carried out by some officers of the Air Force. So let's take you back to Thursday when personnel from the Nigeria Air Force's Sam Ethnan Air Force Base in Ikeja attacked the company following disconnection of power due to an outstanding debt of 4 billion naira. So staff members were assaulted, equipment destroyed, as well as the confiscation of personal belongings such as laptops and phones. The chief technical officer of Ikeja Electric was among those hospitalized due to injuries sustained.
Proud to this day, we've had engagement with the Sam Ethnan Air Force Base, Ikeja, an arm of the Nigerian Air Force, over issues relating to electricity supply and accumulated bills. Solutions were proposed as a way forward based on what they can afford because of their budgetary constraints as well. However, when those solutions, which also went with investment from our own part, were put in place, we discovered that we were denied access to check on those facilities so that other things can happen inside. And those installations were removed. We called their attention to it, had discussions at some point to the level of an Air Vice Marshal who oversees that base generally, and he intervened, and we reached another set of agreements. We implemented our own part as IE, but again, that equipment was disconnected again. When we tried to access the facility, the authorities of the Air Force will not allow us to do that. And so we're forced to make...
Now, in response to the assault, the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, has condemned the attack in a statement where he said, the attack on the facilities of Ikeja Electric, one of our nation's critical power distribution companies, by the Nigerian Air Force is unfortunate and a matter of grave concern to our nation, while standing totally condemned. This unfortunate incident has also raised serious questions about the need for restraint, dialogue, and the use of appropriate democratic channels in resolving conflict. Any attack on its infrastructure is an attack on the progress and well-being of our people, end of quote. The minister also noted that the power sector is the lifeblood of the nation's economy and a cornerstone of national development, emphasizing the need for military personnel to respect civil institutions and due process. He also said, and I quote, "I call on all parties involved to exercise restraint and to seek peaceful and democratic means of addressing all issues that may have led to this unfortunate incident. Our democracy provides us with the tools and institutions necessary to resolve disputes without resorting to violence." End of quote.
Without resorting to violence, right? So this has been a very big issue. Now, we know that the Chief Executive Officer, that's the CEO of the Association of Nigerian Electricity Distributors, Sunday Odutan, who was on Breakfast Extra this weekend here on News Central, described the assault as a shocking display of military aggression at the headquarters of the Ikeja Electricity Distribution Company. Amnesty International has also denounced the assault, calling it a disturbing pattern of impunity within the Nigerian military, citing a history of human rights abuses that have gone unpunished. Amnesty International also called on Nigerian authorities to immediately launch an independent inquiry into the attack and ensure justice for the victims. We heard a number of disturbing things, like the CEO was reportedly, yes, a woman was reportedly locked in the boot of a car. Staff members were assaulted, that as soon as they entered the compound, the security CCTV videos were disabled. If you're going into somewhere and you don't plan anything, you have no need to disable security videos. And I think at the end of the day, there are several issues here. Interestingly enough, if you read many of the comments on social media, while people are acknowledging that the army did wrong, there's a lack of, I think I might say the word is empathy for Ikeja Electric. And we need to recognize that Ikeja Electric is a company. The people who work there are still humans, they're still Nigerians. Whatever our grouse may be with the electricity companies, I don't think we should be so dehumanized that an attack on them, not necessarily that makes us happy, but we don't see it as something we can be. People are like, it's almost like it's karma.
You don't know that
them.
A lot of people do not understand this simple analogy you made. They think that the people there are the company. Half of these people are administrative staff. They do not even have anything to do with the distribution in itself of the light. They are not engineers. They probably are not even working on the sites where electricity is being distributed. But people cannot see. It's just that people can't separate you from your character.
I think
look at those people climbing fence. Some of them would have been hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, let me continue from there. Some of them have been hurt. Some people were hospitalized.
Of course, their blood pressure, what happened to me was little. So my blood pressure went up. Imagine what happened to somebody climbing over a
So while I'm listening to what Naf is saying, I'm asking, and you're speaking so succinctly, you're using flamboyant words, you're talking about, you're even calling democracy in this
I even think he's treading cautiously, like he doesn't want to rile them.
So if we want to take things seriously and push this envelope a bit further, what happens to all those who suffered injuries, whether mental, whether
physical,
trauma, whatever it is that is intangible? What happens to them? Do they get compensated? Do you treat them like human beings, like Lolo says? Or you're just seeing them as Ikeja Electric? I understand how Nigerians can be. Sometimes we can be so detached. Sometimes we can be empathetic. And I ask myself, where are we going? You have a grouse with IE because, Nigerians are feeling the bite of everything is raised by 100%. And you're saying that, it serves them right. When you take light or you increase the hike and you. So once again, Nigerians, we react emotionally to things like this.
I think it's because, again, that we lack structure. Because I don't think that in a more sane society, you would have the power to do such. And then you know that they're just doing their jobs. Again, we're power drunk. It's the fact that you feel insulted that they're doing their job, despite the fact that they've tried to reach a consensus with you over and over again.
But if they can, another thing we need, this is a dangerous pattern.
Very dangerous.
Very dangerous pattern, because this is we're talking about the military, we're talking, this one is the Navy. You can imagine that means the Air Force, sorry, I apologize. The Air Force, do you know how scared anybody would be? And even from the tone of the information Minister of Power, honestly, I feel as if he's talking gently, not to rile them. This is a total condemnation. The words, honestly, I would have used stronger words. It's not like I'm trying to, please don't be angry, that kind of thing. If they can just enter this and do this to a major parastatal, what can they do?
They have done more.
They've done worse. And let's not also forget that in terms of what Lolo is saying, what they can do, I think there's even a greater story here. So let me give you another, let's listen to this. So according to Sunday Odutan, as we said, who's the CEO of the Association of Electricity Distributors of Nigeria, the total electricity bill for the Ikeja Air Force Base from November 1st 2013. 2013 to December 31st, 2022 stood at 7.5 billion. So we're even here arguing about 4 billion. However, thanks to the intervention of former Minister of Power Babatunde Fashola, under former President Muhammadu Buhari, 4.3 billion was paid, leaving a balance of 3.2 billion before 2023. Now, in 2023, the Air Force accumulated a fresh bill of 1.4 billion, out of which 1.2 billion was paid. However, they refused to pay their outstanding arrears, despite there being no contention about the legitimacy of the bill. And as of today, the total outstanding debt owed by the Ikeja Air Force Base stands at 4.34 billion naira. So when you talk about impunity, you know, we spoke about the fact that we heard, Aso Rock too, old electricity companies. And where I'm going is this: the minister can use all the words he wants to use, but we're the country that's asking for investments into our electricity sector. If I was going to invest and I see that the army or a branch of the army, the Nigerian Air Force, can come out of its Air Force base and come and attack my staff because I've disconnected them over a 4.3 billion naira bill that is rolling over, I'm going to think twice about wanting to invest in the electricity sector of Nigeria. There's a larger conversation at play.
There's a larger conversation at play when I said that these are dangerous times, because if military start to cross into civil, even in times of war,
you shouldn't see them coming out of their army base.
They will say that they should give civilians concession. If civilians are in a place, they're not even supposed to shoot because civilians are there. So if they can just enter into a parastatal and just do even this now, Tolu, we will not hear how this is resolved.
At all.
Nobody will be published. Nobody will be punished. They will say they want to treat it privately and
and then what annoys me is they will now come out and ask Nigerians to trust the Nigerian Air Force, to trust the integrity of their people, to trust in the, what's the word I'm looking for, in the restraints, that they're well trained. Meanwhile, time after time, there are examples of unrestraint. There are examples of undisciplined behavior. And at the end of the day, some say that the personnel that attacked the IE headquarters were up to 100. When you look at the video, a good, I can't do numbers. I don't know if they were up to 100. But for me, a good 20, between 20 to 50. They were all over the place. You were forcing people to kneel on the ground.
Able to look.
For what?
Are they telling me that the officers that went in here are only low-grade officers? There must be some kind of
that number of them would leave the base.
To leave the base. Somebody must know.
There's a backing. There's a backing. It's just unfortunate when I say
the flamboyancy of the words that you use. You're patronizing us.
Yes.
You can't say you left the base
without anyone knowing.
Come on now.
Can a recruit just
did they walk? Did they walk? Did they walk? They didn't walk.
What's the low grade business with
exactly to make a decision like
at the end of the day? The reason that I say that the worst is yet to come and it's not a curse is because there's never consequences for action.
None.
And because of that, they will keep doing worse and keep being invasive about it. But anyways, it's time to go on a short break. We're not done yet. This is so annoying.
The week has started again on this note.
Honestly, when we come back, we'll continue the conversation. Stay with us. Let me ask the ladies first. Are we done with the pseudo attempt at damage control that we just read?
For now.
In terms of...
For now.
Moving on.
In form of a
to some other...
Another... Well, okay. Now an update on the Akpoti-Uduaghan Akpabio controversy. As we mentioned on Friday, Senator Natasha condemned her suspension, calling it unjust and illegal. She maintains her stance and is proceeding to take legal actions over her unfair suspension and actual breach of the court order. Now, we thought that would be an end to at least, or a break to the drama. But on March 8th, Senate Majority Leader Opeyemi Bamidele clarified that Akpoti-Uduaghan's suspension was due to her misconduct, violation of Senate rules, and disrespect towards the Senate President, and not because of her sexual harassment allegation against Akpabio. Interesting. Now, to celebrate International Women's Day, I don't even know why we're still doing that, there was a walk celebrating Senate President Godswill Akpabio. There have been so many reactions online ever since the announcement of her suspension. Veteran Oby Ezekwesili, among others, publicly applauded her on Saturday, being Women's Day, while some female legislative aides of the 10th Senate were busy appreciating the Senate President for his unwavering support and benevolence towards the women of the Senate. Let's take a look.
Nigeria.
As in...
God help us.
Let's go.
do they get these people?
He's Catherine, no. He's what Catherine said.
He said he's not a funeral song.
It does sound like
But you know, we need the laugh in this situation based
the
on
liberation
what
of women in this country.
Honestly. At least even if they are going to, even if allegedly they would give us something, at least let it be something substantial you are selling your soul for. Just like selling your first child for one cup of garri.
This is not funny, but I saw one of the videos. I don't know who posted that video. One of the women that were protesting against Natasha Akpoti, they asked her, they're like, so why are you here? They said, I just don't like what she do. Who is she? They even say, who is she? I don't know, but she no try. Akpabio, now we know she no try. Who be she? She doesn't know. It's so, I'm sorry, it's not funny, but
there was a similar video like that when she said, another woman said they just asked her to come and give her 5K.
Of course.
There was another video.
So you know what? When we were coming back into this segment, Blessings was talking about what was the word you used? Something about attempt at
pseudo attempt.
And whatever side of the divide you fall on, we can all agree that there have been some very uneven, unequal things happening.
Yeah.
On International Women's Day, they print posters to celebrate the Senate President. And he actually had a speech where he accepted the award. I didn't even know there was an award. Can I finish? I didn't know there was an award. I guess a well-deserved honor. And he asked about whether or not he had ever harassed any of them, or is it that people are trying to say that they are not beautiful enough for him to harass, something like that. What else we heard a number of things. Then he now also finally referenced the accusations from the former acting DG, I think, of the NDDC, who he said that you'll be hearing from my lawyers. But I find it quite interesting that it's now that you'll be hearing from your lawyers. An accusation as serious as sexual harassment, a claim as serious as I slapped you for trying to touch me or whatever, made on national public TV. It's not one that you joke about. Since Senate President, they say you joke a lot.
You joke about it.
You joke a lot, so it's something you joke about. But now you're ready to hear, your lawyers are ready to go to her about it. But that means you didn't take it seriously, and that means you didn't feel that it was an indication of your character. Whatever you were, and that was at the time when you were a minister and then you were in charge, but now you're Senate President, and now you want to take it seriously, and so we wait to see you take it seriously.
I don't know whether it is something.
We grow old and gray.
Do you know this one? You're a very disrespectful child. But this is a very disrespectful child.
Behavior
You're a very, very disrespectful child. I'm telling you now, I'm warning you now, you're a very disrespectful child.
I have this desire to just wish there was garri and ice water in this cup.
And then do what with it?
I can use spoon to eat it.
Okay,
Because Nigeria, you need to calm yourself down with what you enjoy.
Blessings, are you all right?
Mine is just that if you encourage bad behavior for so long, the mathematicians and the statisticians, Beauty can attest to this, the mathematicians and statisticians can plot you a graph to show you that it only amplifies and becomes a burning bush. Which is what has culminated into all of this drama. International Women's Day. When did as critical as International Women's Day in the lives of women become the focus? When did a man become a focus?
Is a he for she. He's a he for she. I know we always say that when we have allies. Hey, allies now, they call it he for she.
Actually, yeah, I think that
this is a funeral procession song.
Along with women empowerment, let's also magnify women education.
No, but a lot of people, these t-shirts were ordered. Somebody's life was blessed. By what? Didn't somebody order this t-shirt and face cap?
How about the poster?
And somebody printed the poster.
Yeah.
And after there will be drinks, there might even be meat pie and drinks. Allegedly.
Didn't you see that there was an award? Tolu said, I didn't even know that there was an award, but there was an award presented to him.
So
it's all orchestrated.
It's so distasteful in the mouth. And yeah, even if Yoruba will say, LF4, 1E0, okay. I need to explain that. He says you are
all
going.
they said was just that you're selling vegetables. All of a sudden you're just denying.
No, my vegetables not from the dustbin. No. I didn't pick it from the dustbin.
You're so defensive.
Is that from the gutter? We just said
like the wicked wrong.
Vegetables.
You're not a wicked child. There are reactions to this story. Let's take some of the reactions here.
We are comedy of errors. We really are.
Make them continue to no, it's not
Make them continue to dey march. You go reach their turn.
Did you actually say turn like Tolu?
Their turn.
Their turn now.
Their turn now. Our children turn one day and they will regret why they march today. Nigeria na comedy grand.
Seeing how different groups, I can do this one, have been protesting against Natasha and supporting Akpabio shows that the people are not ready. They love and enjoy the situations of the country. They will definitely vote for APC again in 2027. It's better I know now so I won't waste my time voting.
And that's where the
I just noticed how many of them are covering their faces in shame. Some of them have X handles and knew better, but poverty of the mind wouldn't let them break their chains. Happy slaves. Woo-hoo. You wouldn't know the damage of marching for Akpabio or Natasha until you've been falsely accused or actually sexually harassed. Many of you are carried away by social media hype. What you should be marching for is strict adherence to the due process of a fair hearing for both.
Here.
On Women's Day, that should be a day to celebrate women, but not men. All these ones they work for. Poverty is a real disease. Poverty runs deep down than you not having cash at hand.
Yes,
Who
actually.
wrote the script, please? No way, this is not a movie. Woo, last one.
Now woman, they do woman. Now woman, no, they were paid to fight their fellow woman. Women are the problems of themselves. Imagine if this crowd stood up against Akpabio. But it is what it is.
I think there's like a resignation, like an acceptance when you read the reactions. An acceptance that wow, so this is where we are, wow, and then we end it with something like God day or wow, it is well. Oh wow. Anyway, I will not vote in 2027. Oh wow, man, there's no need, there's no hope for Nigeria. It ends. We say what we want to say, but it's a resignation that if we are not getting up for ourselves, is it the stools, the tables, the chairs, the non-living things that will not get up?
Who do you want to fight?
This is so discouraging. Imagine
the third most powerful man in the country.
Do you know that there was a time that I would not believe that there are people like this?
Yeah.
I would argue that maybe there was a glitch in the system. I would not believe that there are people who would vote for certain people. There are people who would believe certain. So imagine seeing this. There's no way that it will not affect my psyche. Like I'm honestly. So I don't
to know that this is just a handful of people. They don't represent every woman.
Do you know what I want to tell
you? Just a handful.
In that crowd, because of statistics that you mentioned, what is it that the statistics tell us? 1 in 3 women in their lifetime will have been sexually assaulted, harassed. In the number of women that march, statistically, there are victims in that crowd.
Exactly.
There are even probably victims of other people, maybe not a Pablo, I don't know anything about. There are victims of men in the National Assembly in that crowd.
Didn't you tell us in the makeup room how this young lady with Down syndrome got pregnant?
She's on social media. She doesn't just have Down syndrome. She has like autism. I think she's autism on the extreme spectrum. She's even non-verbal. They just found her pregnant
last year, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember the story.
Her son is like a year old.
I remember the story or something.
It wasn't a ghost that impregnated.
It wasn't
a disabled child.
It wasn't.
It wasn't. It was a human being that did not have the decency to know that this child is being cared for.
She cannot consent to sexual activity.
She's not even aware.
She's not even aware.
So what society, what kind of society are we living in? And we hear that, just chin up and forget about it, go.
Yeah. Or that once you reach a certain level, you cannot be sexually harassed.
This is not what you should be talking about.
See, let me tell you, one of the things I did over the weekend, yes, I scrolled social media, why do I want to say IVD? IWD Day, and I was seeing all the we're here. I was just I was scrolling like this. It was me and Blessing I did see, and we were in the DMs back and forth because everyone I would say, I'm like, are we serious? Are we actually serious in this country?
No, we're not.
2 very high-profile women in politics. The actions around them and the behaviors around them have shown us where we are and who we are as a country.
And men are sipping tea and having snacks and observing us like movies, almost like we are puppeteered in their hands. They just write the script and just action it, and then we go, and then they sit down sipping tea and just laughing.
If they even hear us now, they will laugh within their their men cave.
Don't worry, when they are
Look
tired,
at them. Are those not women? Are those not women like
when
them?
they are tired, they will sit
When they will settle down
At the
back
end
into
of the
the
day,
kitchen.
for emphasis again, we agree with the poster who said a fair and transparent hearing. At the end of the day, for him and also for her. Put the facts on the table. She's made these allegations. There is a petition before the Senate on this. Let's hear it. Let us see what it is, or let the Senate see what it is, and have a fair, hopefully fair, again, hopefully fair investigation. But not even attempting that, that says enough about who the National Assembly, particularly the Senate under Akpabio, is. Let's take a break.
Today is just one of those days, trust me. And this is another mind-boggling story that we're going to bring to you. We've been reserving this story for a couple of weeks, but...
No, a couple weeks, but
days.
yes, please.
Yes, days.
Thank you.
Welcome to Jasir if you're just joining us. Of course, you know you can join us on all our social media platforms and, of course, on Channel 23 of GoTV. A few northern Nigerian states have recently announced the closure of schools during the holy month of Ramadan. Yes, you heard me right. The affected states include Bauchi, Katsina, Kebbi, and Kano. The Bauchi state government, through the Ministry of Education, Information Minister Jalawuddin Maina, during a press briefing, said the closure was part of the officially approved 2024 to 2025 academic calendar. This schedule designated a 5-week break from the 1st of March to the 5th of April 2025 to enable students to observe the holy month up until the conclusion of Ramadan and the Salah celebrations, with classes to resume on the 5th of April 2025.
Authorities in Kebbi State revised the 2024-2025 academic calendar, concluding the second term on February 28, 2025, with the Ramadan break commencing on March 1st, 2025, while schools are scheduled to resume for the third term on April 7th, 2025. In Katsina State, the Hizba board mandated the closure of all private schools during Ramadan, emphasizing strict compliance with this directive for the next 5 weeks. Now, Kano State is also towing the same line. As of the time we looked into this, specific details on the duration had not yet been made, but I think we have an updated slide on that. Now, the school closures for 5 months have sparked a lot of criticism and debate.
All right, so the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria voiced serious concerns. They assert that these closures weaken the country's secular foundation. They put the education and future of millions of Nigerian children at risk. And the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, on the 3rd of March, threatened to embark on a nationwide protest over the closures, stating that extended breaks undermine academic progress and disrupt learning. They had given the governors of Bauchi, Katsina, Kano, and Kebbi states 72 hours to reverse their decision. The Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, has also expressed concerns over these prolonged school closures and have threatened legal action, arguing that the closures infringe upon the rights of Christian students and Christian-owned schools and could disrupt academic calendars and exacerbate the already high rate of out-of-school children in the affected states.
Now, CAN also highlighted that in countries like Saudi Arabia and the UAE, where Islam is central, schools remain open during Ramadan, with adjustments made to school hours to accommodate fasting students. Now, despite these concerns, the governments of the affected states have maintained their stance, citing consultations with relevant stakeholders, including religious leaders and parents, before making the decision. They argue that the closures are in line with their academic calendars and are meant to allow students and staff to fully observe the holy months. Let's take reactions. Okay,
So reactions are coming up, but one of the things we did in terms of looking at this story was also looking at Muslim majority countries and seeing what they were doing for Ramadan. I know we have those slides. So let's look at the Muslim majority countries. We've listed what the states are doing as well as their governors, but it's other countries that have that Islam is more of a way of life in totality for them. If we can get those slides, please.
Honestly, I'm wondering, are we progressing forward or retrogressing?
Okay, when the sides come.
This is tricky because I feel. Should I?
You should.
By all means.
Gently, please.
I feel that the way we take education in several geographical zones in the country, it's not the same. It's not. We are in the South, education is priority. In the North, no, it isn't. And there's a thin line between that and respect for the religion and respect for education as well. What do you think, if you put that on a scale, where do you think it would tilt more towards? It's respect for religion.
And one of the things that I differ with is that, in those states, there are Christians there. There are Christian schools.
Still.
And fortunately for us, Christians that are Orthodox are fasting also. It's the Lenten season for Orthodox churches. So, and they are not clamoring.
You don't hear them
for
saying they want
closure. So if you are going to readjust, are they now telling us that, okay, maybe these states in the north want to adhere strictly only to Islamic law?
But what we've been told is that Sharia is not meant to be in play for non-Muslims. And in terms of the conversations that are even happening now, because there's a whole conversation around Sharia panels in the Southwest as well, it just highlights for me, because I'm worried about how the calendar is going to sort itself out. But let's look at the countries now that we have that. So in terms of the world's countries with the largest Muslim populations. Indonesia, schools continue to hold classes throughout Ramadan with slight modifications to daily routines to respect religious practices. The country has the world's largest Muslim population with over 225.6 million Muslims, but schools are still open. Pakistan has just around that number, but slightly less, and is adjusting school timings also for Ramadan. All public and private primary schools, as well as high schools, will open from 7:30 to 11:30, and on Fridays they'll close a little bit earlier. Later, after Ramadan, they revert. India has about 211.16 million Muslims. Schools will only be closed on the 31st of March for the Eid celebration. I know there's, I think, Saudi Arabia also there. Schools generally operate on shorter hours during Ramadan to facilitate students' observance of fasting and prayers. Islam is the state religion of Saudi Arabia, and the kingdom is called the home of Islam. And then you have the UAE, where educational authorities such as Dubai's Knowledge and Human Development Authority mandate that private schools reduce their school days to a maximum of 5 hours during Ramadan, and schools have the flexibility to set their start and end times in consultation with the parent communities. You know that thing where they say you can't be more Catholic than the Pope?
Yeah.
I think that comes to bear when you look at what Muslim majority countries are doing versus a country that, yes, states are quite independent, but it's a secular nation. If you want to do it for Islamic schools and Muslims, do it. But this thing of a blanket across all schools, private and public, private particularly, especially if they're Christian, that is where I have a problem. You want us to respect religion, also respect the fact that other people have other religions.
I don't think they cause problem.
I don't think they will have a law that will favor one more than the other. I don't think they do that. So for them, I think it's easy for them to just come up with a blanket law.
For a lot of chaos. Because when we become polarized based on religion, that is a dangerous keg of gunpowder.
We're already there, Lolo. We're already there.
The statistics from other countries doesn't show. So where do we get our own? It's as if the countries are going right, we are going left.
We want to be more Muslim than Saudi Arabia.
Even if they said they were going to adjust the school timing, maybe. But now they're giving them a complete closure. That means the student just came back from war holiday. We have a school calendar. This is new. They can't tell me this has always been the practice. To say that,
and if we let it go this time,
it will be
all right, we have to get out of here because time is never with us. But tomorrow,
they did it last year. They did the same thing for Ramadan last year in the north as well.
We're going. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. I was about to say, wait now. I was about to say 10 p.m. because you're interrupting me. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. West African time. And if you're a lover of fufu, you don't want to miss the conversation tomorrow. I promise you that. Your fufu may not just be fufu. It could be something else.
Who doesn't eat fufu here?